Hello, I'm back. It's been a while. Your girl got appendicitis and then also had to move, so it's been an exciting and painful month and a half. And then I also got lazy, so today we're going to talk about the books that I'm most excited to read this summer. So a few of them are books that I own, and some are audiobooks that I'm waiting for the library to allow me to read. So first on the list is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And as you can see, I'm like, I don't know, 20 pages in because I did start it and then immediately got distracted. But it looks really good. I've been hearing about it for years and I'm really, really excited about it. What I know about it so far is woman marries a man and then lives in his house, and she's like, is it haunted by his ex-wife or is she in the attic? Because you know how those men be putting their wives in the attics and saying they're dead. So I don't know. It's supposed to be kind of like a thriller. There's a Hitchcock movie based off of it, and I'm just really excited. Also, written by a woman. We love that. Next is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, who I've been wanting to read since like the 7th grade when we read Speak, starring Kristen Stewart. I believe it's nonfiction, and I don't know, I've just been hearing about it my entire life, and I am really excited to finally read it. And also, isn't this copy adorable? Next is this chonker of a book. It's called Les Hommes qui n'aimaient pas les femmes. It's by Stieg Larsson. I found it in a used bookshop and I just thought it looked so cool and the back sounded cool. I don't really remember what it's about, but it sounded cool and it looks goth as hell. And also Wednesday Addams on the cover with a necklace of dolls. What's not to like? So it turns out this book in English is called The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, so that explains why the name of the author sounded familiar to me. Oops. That would have been nice to know before. Do your research, kids. Bye.
Girl, you're a joke.
Next is another book I've been meaning to read for years, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Haven't seen the show because I wanted to read the book first, but I do know that it's about a different society. I think it's supposed to be like post-apocalyptic and about women's issues, I believe, but that could be really, really off base. But I am really, really excited to read about it. Or to read it, not read about it. Although, who knows, maybe I will. Also very excited to read The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. I have to read this summer because it is my friend's copy who very generously lent it to us. Us meaning me and my partner, not me talking in the third person. Yeah, it's another nonfiction. I really liked James Baldwin's had a brain malfunction, but really liked James Baldwin's No Name in the Streets. I did try to read this earlier in the year from the library and I just got really distracted and lost, and so I put it down and returned it. But I'm gonna give it a second shot and hopefully this time around it works out. And then the last two physical copies I have are poetry collections. I'm still slowly working through Margaret Atwood's Dearly, which is her poetry collection that my parents got me for Christmas that I've been loving. So ideally I'd like to finish it this year, but we'll see, because I do like to reread the poems and like analyze them and look up all the words that I don't know so that I can have a big brain. And then the last physical copy is I Am Not Your Final Girl by Claire C. Holland. I don't know if I've talked about it before, but I'm buddy reading this with my friend Valentina, and it's a poetry collection based off of the final girls in horror movies. So what we're doing is we're watching the films and then reading the poems together and like being big nerds and analyzing them. So it takes a little bit longer to read something when you do this, especially with someone else. But we've been really, really enjoying the poems. If you haven't already, go buy this. It is so good. And then the audiobooks. I'd like to read Wordslut by Amanda Montell. It's supposed to be a nonfiction book about how language can affect feminism and misogyny. That's what I've understood from it anyway. I didn't remember putting it on hold, but I got a notification for it today, so hopefully by next week I can read it and actually tell you what it's about. Next is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay. I've been wanting to read Roxane Gay for a really long time. She's obviously a very renowned feminist author, so I'm really excited about that, and I've heard a lot of good things about the book, and it's basically just about feminism. We love feminism in this house. Next, I'm going to read The 100 Years War on Palestine by Rashid Kharidi. Obviously, there's a lot on social media right now about Palestine, and I know very little about anything in general, but especially Palestine, and I would really like to know more and be able to talk about it and discuss it with people without just relying on very basic stuff that I learned 6 years ago in high school for like an hour. So next I want to read either Global Discontents or On Palestine by Noam Chomsky. Again, same kind of Palestine knowledge gap, but also just general knowledge gap, and also Noam Chomsky. Yeah, I want to read some Noam Chomsky. Next, I really want to read Canada, A Very Short Introduction by Donald Wright. It's supposed to be a quick little introduction to the history of Canada. As I may have mentioned, I know nothing about Canada, so really looking forward to this read so I can be a little bit more well-versed and know about where I'm living. Next, I want to read Missing from the Village by Justin Ling, and it's a nonfiction book about what happened in Toronto a few years ago where there were a lot of gay men murdered in the village, and it was a serial killer, and don't know too much about it, so I would like to know more and know more about, my fellow gays. Next is So You Want to Talk About Race by Ijeoma Oluo, which has been on my list for months, and I've been just waiting for the book to become available. It's about race, obviously, and you girls trying to fill those knowledge gaps, so that's why this is on the list. It's also been very highly recommended, and it's been on a lot of infographics. Next, I want to read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which is a novel that I've heard so many booktubers talk about. I believe it has something to do with magic, but I'm not really sure. But it sounded really cool when people were talking about it, and I put it on hold months ago, and I'm still waiting, so hopefully I can read it this summer, but it depends on the people who are ahead of me on the wait list. So yeah, those are the books that I'm most excited to read this summer. Let me know in the comments what you guys are interested in hearing about, what you guys are excited to read this summer, and if there's anything else that you'd like to see. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hopefully it won't be in a month.